Dear Chosen, one of God, today I need you to hear this, as if your soul depended on it, because, in truth, it does. Something happened in the invisible that no one around you can see, but they feel it. And that's why their behavior shifted so dramatically. Your spiritual rank just changed. Not because you wanted to rise, but because God saw your faith in the fire, your loyalty in the lonely places, your tears behind closed doors, and heaven rewarded you. And now, the very people who once tried to define your worth can no longer control, contain, or understand who you've become. And that's what terrifies them the most. My dear Chosen One, they don't fear you for what you say or do. They fear the light you now carry. And I need you to stay here with me right now, because what I'm about to reveal could save you from traps set in the dark. You see, when your spiritual rank changes, so do the battles, and so do the enemies. The ones who used to be able to touch you, drain you, manipulate you, they can't reach you the same way anymore. But that doesn't mean they stop trying. In fact, they try harder. That's why the tension around you increased. That's why people started acting strange, silent, distant, or even aggressive for no clear reason. It's because your elevation disrupted the illusion they lived in. And if you don't understand this now, you might fall into the very traps designed to bring you down from where God just lifted you. Before this video ends, I'm going to show you the signs that your rank has shifted, the spiritual dangers that follow, and how to protect what heaven has entrusted to you. So stay with me. Dear Chosen One, please leave your like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Because this isn't just another video, this is your confirmation. And I want you to comment below, I accept my spiritual rank, as a declaration to yourself and to the heavens that you're ready to stand in who you are now. Let's go deep, because what I'll share at the end will open your eyes to something they never wanted you to see. Chosen One, I need you to understand this with all your heart. Your spiritual promotion didn't come from applause, compliments, or recognition from people. It came from the silent places, from the nights when you cried out to God with no one watching, from the moments when you chose integrity while others chose the easy way, from the times you kept your faith even when everything seemed to fall apart. Heaven saw you, and in that secret altar of suffering, your rank was changed. Your authority grew in the Spirit, not because you sought to be above anyone, but because you stayed low before God. And now, this change is felt by those who once tried to define you, control you, or keep you small. They can't handle what you've become because they don't even understand it. That's why you've noticed people acting differently, Chosen One. You didn't change your kindness, your generosity, or your humility, but they feel something shifted. They feel a weight when you enter the room, an invisible presence that makes their hidden intentions shake. They can't explain why they feel intimidated, why they suddenly distance themselves, or why their smiles don't reach their eyes anymore. It's because the light within you exposes what they tried to keep hidden. And this new spiritual rank you carry makes them uncomfortable, because it reminds them of the battles they chose not to fight, the growth they refused to pursue. But it's not just the people around you who noticed your elevation. The invisible world did too. The spiritual realm sees your new position. And with that comes a shift in warfare. The demons that once ignored you or tried to toy with you now see you as a true threat. Your prayers carry more weight, your words pierce deeper in the spirit, and your very presence disrupts the atmosphere of darkness. That's why you feel the pressure rising. That's why the attacks have become more subtle, more strategic. Because the enemy knows it can no longer confront you the same way. Now, it has to try to deceive you, to lure you, to trick you into stepping down from where God lifted you. You may have started to feel relationships fading, connections breaking, and old comforts no longer fitting your life. And let me tell you this, it's not because you're doing anything wrong. It's because your new light reveals what no longer belongs. The bonds that were once safe now feel like chains. The places where you once felt at home now feel tight, small, and suffocating. That's the cost of elevation, chosen one. You didn't outgrow people out of pride. You outgrew the lies that kept you bound. And when God changes your spiritual rank, He also starts to separate you from what can no longer go with you. Have you noticed how the atmosphere shifts when you walk in? How some people look at you differently, not with love, but with hidden envy or confusion. That's not your imagination. That's your new rank at work. Your spirit now carries an authority that unsettles those who hoped you would stay small, those who benefited from your old insecurities, those who tried to write a script for your life and keep you inside it. And now, they see that you no longer fit their narrative, and that terrifies them. What you're feeling is not rejection. It's the resistance of those who can't handle what God is doing in you. But be aware, the attacks will not always come as open opposition. No, chosen one, the enemy has become more clever now. The tactics have changed. The traps will come dressed as opportunities, friendships, romances, and offers that look too good to be true. Because they are. The enemy knows it can't overpower your strength, so it will try to lower your guard through flattery, distraction, and temptation. That's why your discernment must grow with your rank. The higher you go, the more subtle the warfare. And the enemy's greatest hope is that you'll forget who you are now and step down voluntarily. This, my dear chosen one, is not just a blessing. It's a divine responsibility. Your elevation isn't about feeling superior or celebrated. It's about walking with greater integrity, greater humility, and greater wisdom. It's about protecting the authority God entrusted to you and using it to serve, to heal, and to break chains, not just for yourself, but for others still trapped in darkness. This is the weight of your new rank, and now is the time to choose. Will you rise fully into it, or will you let the fear of others' opinions pull you back down? The choice is yours, but the purpose is waiting. Now you begin to see it, don't you? The subtle ways the opposition rises. It's not always through loud conflict or obvious betrayal. Sometimes it's in the small shifts, words twisted to make you doubt yourself, conversations where you feel suddenly unwelcome, moments when people you trusted start pulling away or throwing hidden jabs masked as jokes. These aren't coincidences. These are the signs that your light is shining too brightly for the shadows that once surrounded you. And they feel it, even if they can't explain it. This is the tension of your new spiritual rank. You are both needed and resisted at the same time. And as this tension grows, so does your awareness, chosen one. You start to see patterns where once you saw random events. The same types of distractions keep coming. The same emotional triggers appear again and again, as if orchestrated, because they are. The enemy knows your weaknesses and tries to pull at them, hoping you'll forget who you are now. But with this new rank comes new sight. God is sharpening your discernment so you can see through the fog, so you can recognize the snares before you step into them. This is no time to sleep spiritually. Your promotion demands vigilance. But I know what you're feeling. The loneliness of this level is real. You look around and wonder, where did they all go? The ones who said they'd stand with you? The ones who cheered for you when your light was smaller? The ones who said they believed in your calling? They've grown quiet. Or worse, they've grown cold. And it hurts, chosen one. It hurts to rise and find fewer familiar faces by your side. But this is part of the price. The higher you go, the fewer can come with you. And not because you don't love them, but because the weight you now carry isn't meant for everyone. Think of Daniel, standing in Babylon, surrounded by those who wanted to see him fail, yet elevated by God to a position they couldn't understand. That's you now, elevated in the midst of opposition. promoted in the presence of enemies, and just like Daniel, you are called to stand firm, to pray deeper, to walk with unshakable integrity. Your spiritual rank is not a shield from attacks. It's an invitation to prove your faith in the fire. And the same God who shut the lions' mouths for Daniel will protect you too, if you remain steadfast. There may be moments when you're tempted to shrink yourself back down, to fit again where you no longer belong. You might think, if I just dim my light a little, maybe they'll accept me again. Maybe the tension will ease. But that's a lie, chosen one. Your soul has tasted the higher calling. It can't pretend anymore. The discomfort you feel isn't because you did something wrong. It's because you no longer fit the old mold. Trying to go back would only break you more. And deep down, you know that. You can't go back, not after what God has done in you. And here is the greater battle now, not against external enemies, but against the temptation to abandon your elevation. The enemy's strategy has shifted. He knows he can't tear you down from the outside, so he whispers to your own heart, "You're too much. You're too different. Go back, be small again, and they'll love you." But that's the snare. That's the trap. The greatest warfare at this level is internal. It's the fight to stay true to who you've become, to what God has called you to be. And that, chosen one, is where your true strength will be tested. So let me ask you, with all sincerity, do you see now that there's no turning back? That what God has begun in you cannot be undone by human opinion or enemy schemes? Your spiritual rank changed because God decreed it. No one can reverse it. No one can steal it. But you must choose to walk in it. You must choose daily to stay aligned, to stay surrendered, to stay courageous. And if you do, chosen one, you'll see doors open that no man can shut, because this elevation wasn't given by man. It was given by the King of Kings. You may not realize it fully yet, but your elevation was not random. It was God's response to your faithfulness in hidden places. While others gave up, while others compromised, you stayed at the altar, and heaven took notice. That's why your spiritual rank changed. It wasn't a human decision, it was divine. And because of that, no one can undo it. What you're facing now, the strange behaviors, the resistance, the silent distance of people, it's all because they sense what God has done in you, even if they can't put it into words. Your new spiritual position is a sign that the purpose written over your life is drawing closer to fulfillment. That's why the battle seems fiercer. That's why the confusion around you has grown. The enemy sees that God's promise over your life is no longer a distant prophecy. It's becoming reality. And so the forces that once ignored you now focus on you. But here's the truth. They're already too late. Because what God has started in you can't be stopped by fear, by lies, or by attacks. The elevation was sealed in the secret place, and no one can break it. Moses didn't receive his calling in a palace. It was in the wilderness. And that's where God raised you too. In the moments of isolation, in the trials that felt endless, in the prayers you thought went unheard, that's where your rank shifted. Like Moses, you've been called to lead, to liberate, to carry light where darkness reigns. But remember, Moses had to leave behind Egypt, had to walk away from the familiar, to step into his true mission. And now, it's your time to do the same. God is calling you out of the old. But don't be surprised if the enemy tries to confuse your mind. That voice that whispers, "You're imagining all this. You're not different. Nothing's changed." That's the tactic of the one who fears what you've become. Because if he can make you doubt your elevation, he can make you hesitate. And in hesitation lies the snare. But deep down, you know, you feel the shift in your spirit. You see the evidence around you. You sense that what once fit no longer does. Don't fall for the deception. Stand firm in the truth of who you are now. The closed doors that once made you question yourself, they were God's protection. He allowed those doors to shut so you wouldn't step back into places too small for your calling. What felt like rejection was actually redirection. And now, you're being guided into spaces that match your new rank, into connections that align with your true purpose. The loneliness you felt was preparation, because God removes before He replaces. And what's coming will be worth every tear, every loss, every unanswered question. There's something sacred about how heaven works. While you thought God was silent, He was elevating you. While you wondered if your prayers mattered, He was building your authority. The silence wasn't abandonment. It was the sound of God working on your behalf in ways you couldn't see. And now, that work is beginning to show. Now, the enemy recognizes it. Now, people around you sense it. And now, it's time for you to recognize it too. You've grown beyond what they can handle, because God has grown you for what's ahead. If you hold your ground, if you protect what God has entrusted to you, if you walk humbly in this new rank, you'll see what heaven intended all along. Chains will break. Light will pierce through places you never thought possible. Your very presence will bring change, healing, and freedom. Not because of you, but because of the one who raised you. This is why the enemy fights so hard. This is why the resistance feels so heavy. Because your purpose is no longer a threat. It's becoming a reality, and nothing can stop it. Chosen one, let this settle deep into your heart. The weight you now carry is sacred. Your elevation is not about being seen. It's about being trusted. God entrusted you with a greater measure of responsibility because He saw in you the heart of a servant, not of someone seeking power or validation. That's why your rank changed. And with this sacred weight comes the need for greater discernment. The enemy knows he can no longer defeat you with the old weapons. So now he comes with offers that look good, with voices that sound kind, with opportunities that seem perfect. But their goal is to distract, to divide, to dilute what God has placed in you. That is why you must stay vigilant. The higher you rise, the more subtle the traps. Growth always exposes what was hidden, and your new level is revealing things you couldn't see before. What you thought were friendships, you now see were assignments against your peace. What you believed were safe places, you now realize were cages keeping you small. And this hurts, I know. The breaking away is never easy, but this is how God protects His chosen. He lets the masks fall so you won't cling to what was sent to block you. You're not losing anything, chosen one. You're being freed. Freed from illusions. Freed from attachments that no longer serve your purpose. Freed to move without chains into what's next. And here's the hard truth many avoid. Your light will always provoke darkness. Not because you attack, not because you condemn, but because your very existence reminds the shadows that their time is limited. Your presence calls people higher, and not everyone wants to rise. That's why they resist you now. That's why what used to be easy is now filled with tension. Your spiritual rank made you visible in a way you weren't before. And while heaven celebrates, hell trembles. But you must not dim your light to ease their discomfort. Your assignment is not to make others comfortable. It's to walk fully in who God called you to be. This is the moment where your courage is tested, not by external enemies, but by the inner temptation to retreat. There will be moments when you'll want to shrink back, to fit again where you no longer belong, to silence yourself so you can be loved by those who only knew the older version of you. But hear me, chosen one, that's not love, that's control. And you are no longer under their control. God has set you free, and this freedom demands that you walk in truth, even if it means walking alone for a season. What waits on the other side of your obedience is greater than what you're tempted to return to. Every time the enemy whispers, "You've changed too much. You're not who you used to be," let that be your confirmation, because that's exactly what God intended. You weren't meant to stay who you were. You were meant to evolve, to rise, to reflect His glory in ever-increasing measure. So yes, you've changed. You've grown. You've become who the enemy hoped you'd never discover. And that's why the warfare has intensified. Not because you're failing, but because you're succeeding in stepping into your true identity. And that, more than anything, terrifies the darkness. This new level isn't just about you. It's about the lives tied to your obedience. There are people waiting to hear your voice, to see your courage, to be freed by your testimony. That's why God elevated you. That's why He refined you in the fire. Because your story, your resilience, your victory, it will unlock doors for others still trapped. Don't believe the lie that says this is just about your personal journey. Your new spiritual rank carries a ripple effect. And every time you choose to stand firm, you make the path clearer for someone else who thought it was impossible. And now comes the call to a deeper posture. This rank demands more than surface-level faith. It calls you to deeper prayer, deeper surrender, deeper trust. The tactics of the enemy have evolved, and so must your spiritual practices. The fasting that once felt optional now becomes vital. The prayer that once felt sufficient now needs to deepen. The vigilance that once felt extreme now becomes essential, because your position in the Spirit requires it. This is how you protect what God has given. This is how you walk worthy of the elevation you've received. And this is how you keep rising, no matter what comes. Chosen one, I want you to see this clearly now. The resistance you feel is not rejection. It's confirmation. Confirmation that the light in you has grown too strong for the environments that once contained you. Confirmation that the people who once celebrated you can no longer handle the reflection your growth places before them. This is not about you being too much. It's about them refusing to face what your presence reveals. And so, they pull back, they criticize, they misunderstand. But all of it is because your very being has become a mirror, showing them what they have avoided in themselves. Don't let this push you into shrinking. Let it push you into purpose. You are now being called to walk with greater awareness, greater responsibility. Your words carry weight. Your presence shifts atmospheres. Your prayers pierce through barriers that once stood firm. And that's why the enemy will do anything to get you distracted, to get you entangled in meaningless battles, to get you so focused on who's pulling away that you forget why you were elevated in the first place. But here's the truth. Your focus must match your rank. The higher God takes you, the more your focus must be laser-sharp, anchored in His will, unmoved by the noise around you. Because the noise is designed to pull you out of position. This is why the attacks have become more subtle. The enemy no longer comes with obvious traps. Now he comes cloaked in what looks good, sounds good, feels familiar. The invitation that seems perfect. The relationship that feels like destiny. The opportunity that looks like breakthrough. But behind it is the plan to pull you off course, to water down your calling, to make you step down from your position of authority. That's why you need discernment like never before. Because what is dangerous now is not what looks evil. It's what looks right, but isn't aligned with God's will for you. And here is what I want you to hold on to. God has already equipped you for this level. He didn't elevate you to abandon you. He didn't promote you in the Spirit to leave you vulnerable. Every trial you endured was training. Every betrayal you survived was preparation. Every lonely night, every hidden tear, every moment you chose faith over fear. It all built the foundation you now stand on. You are ready for this, chosen one. Even if it feels overwhelming at times, know this. You are not standing here by accident. You were forged for this, and heaven is backing you every step of the way. Let the loneliness remind you that you're being set apart. Let the tension remind you that you're stepping into your true identity. Let the resistance remind you that you are no longer who you were. And that's of victory. The enemy hoped you'd stay small. The world hoped you'd stay silent. But God had other plans, and your elevation is proof of His plans unfolding. You may not see the full picture yet, but trust this: you are on the path. You are in alignment. And as long as you keep your eyes on Him, no scheme formed against you will prosper. This is your time to walk boldly in your new rank. Chosen one, I urge you now to deepen your walk. Don't let this promotion in the Spirit be treated lightly. Protect it with prayer. Guard it with fasting. Strengthen it with the Word. The enemy's attacks are smarter now, so your strategies must be stronger. This is a season to draw nearer to God, to anchor yourself so deeply in His presence that no storm can shake you. Let your heart be so hidden in Him that nothing can pull you out of position. This is how you sustain what He's given you. This is how you keep rising. This is how you fulfill the purpose for which you were raised up. And I need you to hear this in your spirit. Your growth was not just for you. There are lives tied to your obedience. There are chains that will break because you chose to stand firm. There are generations that will be impacted because you refused to shrink. Your elevation carries purpose beyond what you can see right now. So don't let momentary discomfort cause you to forget eternal assignments. Don't let temporary resistance make you question permanent truths. You were chosen for this. You were trusted with this. Now is the time to walk in it, fully, boldly, humbly. Chosen one, let this be your declaration today. I will stand in my spiritual rank. Write it in the comments now. Declare it to yourself, to heaven, to the darkness that hoped you'd shrink. Let your words be a line drawn in the sand. Let your stand be a testimony. And as you do, I encourage you to like this video, subscribe, and activate the notification bell so you continue to receive messages that strengthen your spirit and remind you of who you are. And if this spoke to your soul, share it, because someone else needs this truth today. I want to take this moment to thank everyone who has supported us through Buy Me a Coffee. Your generosity helps us create deeper, more impactful content for the chosen community. If you feel led to support, the link is in the first pinned comment. And always remember this: what God has elevated, no enemy can bring down. What God has ordained, no force can stop. Stand tall, chosen one. Walk in your rank, and let your life be the proof that light always overcomes darkness.